I am so excited to get started on reviews of this book. This is okay. So I just finished the entire, the first 3 books of this series, right? And I have to say, I'm giving this entire series, the trilogy together, a 5.0. I'm giving it 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. It is that good. Let's get ready for a review of Red Rising by Pierce Brown.
In a world where colorism is the new racism, where men of golden eyes and golden hair are gods, the Reds are the scum of the working class. One Red will choose to rise, to lead his people, to shatter the chains of colorism, and to execute vengeance on those who would kill the people he loves.
Now, how does this book start out? Now, this book starts out with our hero, Darrow. Darrow is the man. He's a hell diver. You know, he's one of those dudes that are on Mars. They're terraforming Mars. They're digging deep and they're releasing hydrogen gas and they're in charge of hydrogen production. Now, he's a part of the socioeconomical group called the Reds. He has red eyes. I think they have red hair. You know, and unfortunately, he's part of the lowest class of people on the planet, right? Or in the solar system, pretty much. His wife, though, on the other hand, and this is like 17, 18-year-old kid with a wife, right? Anyways, now his wife sees something better in him and says, Darrow, there's something better than this. Now, he was born underground, so all he knows is the underground reality of Mars, and so he's never gone above ground. He's never seen anything better. Right now, there's one crater where there's a garden where they would he and his wife would spend their time in the evenings after work, and they would look up at the stars and so on. But as it relates to the surface, he's never seen the surface, and in their minds, it's like they are working their butts off pretty much for the good of humanity, and this is the story that they're told. This is the story that they're sold in order to keep them compliant, keep his people, the Reds, compliant, right? But his wife is like, there is more. There's more out there, Darrow. But then he's not ready for that message. So then, in the midst, there's a little issue, there's a little problem, and then they ended up hanging his wife. Now, because unfortunately, the gravity isn't as, in that case, the gravity isn't as strong, as heavy as what's on Earth. She's choking, and it's taken a very long time for her to die. So Darrow, being a good husband, has to go hold the feet of his wife and pull her down until she finally suffocates, right? Or neck breaks, or whatever comes first. This is what he has to go through in the beginning of the story. And then it is from that loss comes the motivation for him now to try to discover her dream. It's from her sacrifice that he now has the motivation to try and become a greater person, the person that she has seen in him. Now this goes into the thing I like the most about the story. And again, about this first book, Red Rising, because this is the first book of the series, Red Rising. You know the motivation of this character from the very beginning. 1. 2, the motivation of this character is very believable. It doesn't seem stupid. It seems like, if they did that to my wife, where I had to go and hold her legs, I don't know. Anyways, I don't even want to put myself in. I don't even want to put myself in that situation. I don't even want to imagine that situation. But I get it. I get the pain. I get the angst. I get the whole thing. And I am sold. From the very beginning of the book, I am sold on why he's doing the things he has to do. Now, later on in the story, he goes to someone called a carver, who is able to transform him from the red that he is the lowest of the lows in society, to a gold, which is the highest of the highs in society. They're like the noble and royal class people. And so he's transformed into gold, and I don't know, there's something about vengeance stories, about revenge stories that always gets me. Dude, there's something about vengeance stories that always gets me. But Pierce Brown doesn't keep it a vengeance story. He puts all these little conflicts. This dude has a conflict on every single page of his freaking book. There's a conflict everywhere. I love it. I love it. It's so good. This book, there's a conflict every single where. Like, this book does not slow down one bit. Now, if you have a weak heart, don't read this book. If you got a weak heart, don't read the book. Don't do it. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. Then you're going to come blame me. You're going to go blame Pierce Brown. And then, lawsuits going to... We don't just... If you got a weak heart, just don't do it. Don't do it. Please. I'm warning you. Next. Things I like about this book. The action is amazing. Action is really good. As a result... Unfortunately, unlike Dragon Republic and Burning Gods, this book, the violence actually makes sense. Because all these guys are strong, they're engaged in a war. You get the horror of the situation by way of the violence, by way of the bloodshed, by way of why they're doing things. You get the ruthlessness of the people. You understand the ruthlessness of the people that you're dealing with. And if they should catch Darrow in his lies, what will happen to him as a result? That's where the danger comes in. Now, because this is one of those stories where Darrow is kind of like he's a good moral character, and then he kind of ascends to be a good, also physically fighting character. You don't get the sense of a huge sense of danger, but you get the sense of the horror of the society that they're living in. Okay, and so these are some of the things I like so much more about this book, but let's move on. Some of the things I don't like about this book. Now, I have to realize the things I don't like about this book, I feel as if in the other books, Pierce Brown fixes them. In this book, I didn't feel like he described the world as much so that I could get a clear picture. I remember there was one scene where they were trudging through mountains and it was snowing and all this other stuff. And I don't know, like, it was halfway through the scene when it's finally, it's snowing. And it's like, they're in like 6 feet of snow or whatever. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I thought this was like a clear mountainside. I thought that this was, greenery and so on. And it's actually completely white. So then it just kind of caught me off guard. It's not a big deal. It just caught me off and it drew me out of the story. And then my mind had to redo things and start rethinking about the way in which... Anyways, I just didn't get that it was snowing. Okay, one of the things I didn't like. Again, another thing that I didn't like, I didn't feel the danger as much until like you start getting towards the end of the book. Right? When one of the main villains started to kind of crop up. But then the main villain was bad, but Darrow was just like a little bit under him. Like, he wasn't as smart. Darrow wasn't as smart as that main villain, but he was certainly, because of the friends he has, because of his ability to draw people together and so on, you know, you knew that, he's going to win. He's going to win. So there wasn't that sense of danger. And I think that's it. I love his writing style. I love the constant conflict. The pace of the book was just, mwah, mwah. The pace of the book was just beautiful. And so this is definitely one of those books, you know, I have to give this book a 4.8 out of 5 stars. And after I finished reading this book, I initially said, okay, it's a 5-star book. This is definitely a 5-star book. I have to give it a 4.8 out of 5 stars because I think the second book does better. And if you've watched some of my videos, especially on trilogies, you know, I usually say that the second book is usually one of the weaker books in the series. But the second book actually does better. And I think probably the second book, I don't know, it might be the best. I don't know. It's debatable which one is the best. But I think the second book does better. And the series on the overall is a must-read series. It's so good, guys. If you love thrillers, if you like action, if you like nonstop, then this is it. This book is I think it's a lot like Jim Butler books. Jim Butcher books, where it's just constant action and moving and just, you know, pulsing and so on. I love that kind of stuff. So, again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like more of this kind of content, definitely go ahead and subscribe. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you so much again for joining me on another Novel Escape. Peace.